Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another awareness session of Reconstructing Minds. My name is Shantario, aka Brother Midnight. Today, I got another very interesting and important subject dealing with the principle of life. So, without any further ado, we're going to turn in our blueprints to page 66 and dealing with the principle of life and how it plays a major role in our purpose, the energy that we put out, and also our tone of thought, which represents our thought process. So let's get into it. It says, in preparation for the task before us, let us become more aware of our second principle. The life within us, that we may go and face the visions of our leadership as though called forth for a purpose. From now on, we must put life in its proper perspective by realizing that life is an expression of love. Life is the creative force of love and action. The first subject I'm going to be dealing with is life is energy. Life is energy that grows and develops towards a particular purpose. When you are not growing and developing toward a purpose, you are dying or dead. Life is pure energy that flows through all creation. It flows through animals and plants as well as humans. It flows through the physical and mental as well as the spiritual. Life is the pure energy that flows through every animated object in the universe, known and unknown. So here it is. Life is energy. Life is a force that flows throughout everything created in the universe, even the universe within itself. It says, the energy that it takes for a thought to be made into reality is the same energy that it takes to walk one foot before the other. In other words, it takes a thought. See, everything begins with our thought process. We can't actually commit an action without the thought being present first. It says life is energy in its purest form. The life that lives in the core of an atom is the same energy that gives birth to all creation. Why? Because within an atom represents energy. It says all energy, all life, excuse me, just for 1 second. Wait. Now I'm back. It says that the life that lives in the core of an atom is the same energy that gives birth to all creation. All energy, in other words, all life is a part of a parcel of the one creative force, which some of us call God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you choose to call it. In the blueprint, it is known as the one creative force of all existence. It says, however, life is governed by laws, which means you will only get from life what you put into it. In other words, whatever kind of energy that you put in life, whether it be negative or positive, that same energy will flow out through your life. A person's lifestyle is simply the way in which he uses his creative force, his life energy. Lifestyles can be destructive or constructive to the creative force within you. And see, this is where it gets interesting because, so many of us put so much energy into being negative that we can't see the positive side of the life or the positive side of the organization. And this is where the dynamic changes because you see two entities at work. Either your life energy is destructive or constructive. Says, have you ever wondered why some unfortunate thing happened to you for no apparent reason, like being the innocent victim of an accident, mugging, or any unfortunate event? If so, then you may be been witnessing the law of life in action. The law of life is precise in returning our actions to us. Its most common interpretation, you will reap what you sow. And that is very true. In the Bible, it talks about uh, reaping and sowing as well. And whatever energy you put into life, whether it be negative or positive, whatever you do whatever we do in our lives, it will show in our lives in some kind of dynamic. It says you can accidentally cause misfortune to others, but never are you an innocent victim of your own misfortune. See, a lot of us, we want to play the role as being innocent when something bad happens to us, but good and bad happens to us all. No matter where we're at in life, what we're doing, no matter how much good or bad that we do, it's just a part of life. For instance, it says you were in a room and the ceiling fell in and everyone escaped without a scratch except you. Your first response would be that you were an innocent victim. However, according to the law of life, you are responsible for whatever happens to you in your life. So each and every day is an opportunity for us to make better choices, better decisions, and be mindful of how we treat our fellow brothers and sisters of the struggle. Because whatever energy we put out into this world, it'll come back to us, unfortunately. People thinking they can do you wrong and treat you any kind of way and talk to you any kind of way, that energy will come back to that person. It's not for us to want revenge or to want to see anything bad done to an individual who does us wrong, because life is that energy. Whatever a person does to you, it eventually comes back to them in a worse shape, form, or fashion. Okay. It says, therefore, you put yourself in a position of being hurt. It was your decision to be standing in that spot at that moment. Of course, you are going to sue every Tom, Dick, and Harry that you possibly can for your energies. The bottom line is, it may not be your fault that the ceiling fell in, but it is your fault that you were standing in its way. And that's the truth. See, a lot of times we put ourselves in positions to be hurt or misfortune to happen to us in our lives, because we got to be mindful that things happen. Things can just happen. No matter what it is, things can just happen. And we can't control how life deals with us. But we can control the decisions that we make in order to have a brighter life. It says, how and why is this true? Try to imagine the following. If you kick a cat, the energy in that kick will travel to your 360 cycle of life and return to its source, which is you. A lot of people use the word karma. So whatever energy you put out, whether it be negative or positive, that same energy will return unto you. It says it may take days, weeks, months, years for the condition of your life to present an opportunity for the energy in your original kick to return to its source, you. Then on an unexpected day, while hammering a nail, you strike your thumb. Or while you're crossing the street, you are struck down by a car. Your first reaction will probably be, why did that happen to me? Well, if you will remember every little thing, if we could remember every little thing we have done in life, we would find such happenings are only self, meeting self. In this manner, the law of life is unfailing. So we have to be mindful of what we put out into this world. If you're putting out gang banging, gangsterism, doing anything that's not positive and productive, that energy will return to you. That energy will return to me. And see, by me being a teacher of the blueprint, I have to live according to what I teach. See, anything outside of the law of life is dead. But the leadership had decided that we will live and flourish into something great. So it's because everything we do, say, think is governed by the law of life. It is necessary that we pay close attention to the tone of thought behind our actions. For instance, if we kick a cat, if your tone of thought was, oops, I'm sorry, come here, let me ease the pain, then the response will hit you. Your thumb might be a mere oops. Or after being struck down by that car, you might get up without a scratch and walk away unhurt. Whereas if your tone of thought, excuse me, just one second. Back to the reading. It says, was get out of my way, you stupid, ugly cat, before I kill you. I hate cats. Then when you so-called accidentally hit your thumb, you will probably need some medical attention instead of walking away without a scratch. After being struck down by that car, you might find yourself hospitalized with broken bones. The tone of thought behind your actions helps to determine whether they will return to you negatively or positively. However, no matter what, your actions will return to you. Such is the law of life in action, our second principle. We have to remember everything begins with a thought process. Whatever we put out into this world, that energy will return back unto us. So if you wake up every day on a positive note, that energy that you receive will be positive, but you wake up negative, always got something negative to say, ain't nothing positive about your life, then you will reap the benefits of your negativism. I know the above example sounds rather simple, but truth is plain and simple. Man makes truth complicated by his desire to see things his way and creates lies to justify his lack of understanding. Now, according to the teachings of the blueprint, understanding is the crown point of all our principles. Understanding is that which brings all the other principles together. This is why we must come into the full understanding of our second principle, that life is the creative force of love and action. How many times have we ignored an opportunity to aid and assist your fellow brother? And this is where it gets interesting even the more, because when you have brothers and sisters that's doing righteous endeavors, helping their communities, doing those things which are conducive to helping the organization have a positive and productive perspective, things seem to hit some of the membership a little negatively, because you got some who just have a spirit of negativism. They wake up on negative behaviors. They just don't never have nothing good to come out of them. And then we wonder why we reap what we sow. Says, are you aware of the fact that when you ignore a chance to aid and assist your fellow brother, you are setting yourself up to be refused aid and assistance when you may need it? At this point, why scorn the bag lady or mock the wino when you know what goes around comes around? And see, that's why a lot of us get things mixed up. You know what I'm saying? Because I've shared some things of my past with a certain individual, and he blew it right back in my face. And he's supposed to be my brother. And you will find that even inside the organization, that some people, they just don't care. Especially if they're called into leadership. They will demean what you doing just to make themselves seem like they're important or they're somebody, and that's the Mr. Important complex. People will belittle you to make themselves seem important. The point is, it says, know then, that you will be scorned in your search for riches and wealth. You too will be mocked when you search for life's sweetness. Know that whatever you do, be it good or bad, your actions will return to you. Pay close attention to your tone of thought, because when you cause pain or hardship to someone or something, and our tone of thought is forgiving, we are allowed to experience the grace of being hurt when your actions return to us. Remember, life is growth and development towards a particular purpose. So whatever your purpose is in life, make the most of it. Stop listening to people whose life is just full of foolishness, who's stuck on gang banging, senseless violence, all that other foolishness that is not growth and development. As you just heard what the blueprint stated, life is growth and development towards a particular purpose. Find your purpose in life and make the most of it, as long as it's positive and productive. And not only benefits yourself, but benefits the collective as well. The true spirit of organization is not to be selfish, but to be selfless. To mold yourself around the organizational structure. To mold yourself around the new concept of organization. Those are the things that are conducive to our individual and collective growth and development. My name is Shantario, aka Brother Midnight. I hope we have learned something together. Plenty much love. Love, honor, and respect to the leadership. Love, honor, and respect to the divine visions of the leadership. May the master of the vision be honored and praised.